Hey folks, it's me again, Vinny here, and this is the vinny2cents segment on this Friday, May 15th. This is a segment that I've been running for 3 weeks now, where I talk a little bit about the comics, games, and movies, TV news that have come across my desk, and also a little bit of inside info on what's going on here at Mythworks. So without further ado, let's jump right in. For comics today, we've got news coming from Tintin.com. Released today, they announced that next week, on May 22nd, it's going to be a special celebratory double anniversary day for them. This is a particularly special day for Tintin fans because it is Hergé's birthday, creator of Tintin, as well as the official opening day of the Tintin Museum in Belgium in 2009. In order to celebrate this special occasion, they are offering free admissions to the Tintin Museum between the 22nd and the 24th of May. So if you are in Belgium or around those parts around that time, this might be one for you. There is a caveat though. In order to get the free admission, you need to come to the museum in disguise. Now, I'm a big Tintin fan. I grew up on Tintin. It was the thing my parents offered me as a reward every time I got good grades. And throughout the issues, Tintin and his friends are always dressing up and disguising themselves in order to enter forbidden spaces or some underworld secret society in order to solve a mystery. I think that it should have been optional, but you know, I don't know how many people are gonna pick up on that and be like, hey, you know, let's do it. But it's fun, it sparked joy, and I thought it was quite fitting for the occasion. Moving along to games, Crimson Desert has come back onto my YouTube feed somehow. This is a game published by a Korean publisher, Pearl Abyss, and it launched back in March this year to not so good reviews. Last I heard, it was sitting around 51% positive back then, and people were just having a ton of problems with it, like clunky controls, performance issues, poor UI, you name it. But now it looks like things have turned around, and currently Steam reviews are at around 83% positive. That is pretty crazy. Just the fact that they were able to turn it around within 2 months is pretty much unheard of. If you've grown up with Bethesda or, you know, No Man's Sky, I remember I was all into the hype with No Man's Sky, and my partner even got me a pre-order for it, and it just fell flat and, you know, didn't offer what it promised, and Hello Games went silent for what felt like, you know, a year or so. And, you know, in the background, they were just quietly fixing the game up and making improvements and getting it to where they wanted it to be. This is completely different. This isn't a publisher that is going to go silent and work it out in the background. This is a publisher that I've heard from many YouTubers will literally fix and make patches within 30 minutes, 24 hours of hearing a problem. And I mean, if you look at the Steam database, look at all those patches. That is crazy. They've released 36 patches since launch, and yeah, I mean, it seems to be working, you know? I think this is something that's pretty newsworthy. The fact that this game is able to turn everything around in such a short time, this is what game publishers should be doing. So take note, this is great. On a side note, Crimson Desert looks amazing. It looks like a game tailored for me. It has, you know, the whole medieval fantasy aspect of it. It looks like Witcher 3. It has physics mechanics that remind me of Zelda Breath of the Wild, so it looks like that's what's gonna happen over this weekend. Gotta go and see if I can download it after this. Anywho, moving on to the tabletop role-playing game scene, Tabletop Gaming has announced that Justice League Unlimited will be the first official DC ttrpg to come to the table in almost 2 decades. This is a game that is being worked on by a Brazilian publisher, D20 Culture, in collaboration with Warner Brothers, and it will be crowdfunded on GameFound later on in July. For reference, DC has published superhero RPGs in the past, DC Adventures in 2010 and DC Universe role-playing game in 1999. So yeah, it's quite a long time, and it's probably going to be a well-deserved refresh. Helming the project, one of the co-writers is Mark Waid, DC writer who has thousands of comics under his belt, and the game is said to be narrative-focused, where you could play your favorite DC characters or come up with your very own. Players will operate from the Justice League's new satellite, the Watchtower, where they will take on a variety of adventures, which are broken up into different dynamic scenes. This is one of the aspects that really interests me. They've broken it up into 4 different scenes. You've got your combat scenes where you're fighting henchmen, baddies, supervillains. You will have saving scenes where it's going to be a timed mission where you need to really run against the clock to save innocent lives. Interlude moments where your character is just going to be sitting around and thinking and talking with other superheroes and building that important personality. And then there's the crisis die. The crisis die is where you roll the die and something earth-shattering happens, whether that be an alien invasion, time travelers, you name it. If this looks like one for you, check out the Quick Start Guide. It's free on DriveThruRPG. Link in the description below. Now on to movies and TV. This is another Tintin-coded article coming straight from Screen Daily, and it's an interview with Peter Jackson at the Cannes Film Festival. According to the article, Peter Jackson has revealed that he is working on a script for a new upcoming Tintin film. So exciting stuff all around. Peter Jackson is one of my favorite directors. I'm a big fan of The Lord of the Rings, and he made Lord of the Rings. He has a huge collection of World War I stuff. I have World War I stuff. Loves Tintin so much that he's making Tintin movies. I love Tintin so much that I read them all the time. So I find a kindred spirit within him, and I am so excited to see what he comes out with this new Tintin adventure. At the end of the article, Peter Jackson touches on the use of AI in filmmaking, and he says, "I don't dislike it at all. To me, it's just a special effect. The only thing with AI that's critical is you don't AI an actor or somebody without their approval, just as you can't adapt a book that somebody has written without owning the rights to the book." Interesting 2 cents there. As AI takes over pretty much every facet of our lives, this is a continuing conversation in the creative world on what are the limitations of AI and where is it allowed and where it isn't. So it's interesting to hear Peter Jackson kind of weigh in on that. But I mean, these are early days. The technology is still young, and I'm sure there's going to be many, many years of us discussing and finally figuring out where AI is going to go and what is acceptable and what's not. Moving on to Mythworks news. This week and next week are relatively quiet event-wise. Over here at Mythworks, we're pretty much axe to the grindstone and getting all the stuff in order, trying to make sure that we're working hard to finish projects up and get things shipped out. That's kind of what we've been focusing on. I did receive a wonderful package from fellow Mythopian Graham Gentz that was filled to the brim with comics, and specifically comics from Free Comics Books Day, Free Comic Book Day. And he sent over the ones that I really wanted, because over here in Italy, unfortunately, we don't really have Free Comic Book Day. So that was a really lovely treat. Thank you, Graham. That was so awesome of you to do. Personally, I've been working on my own comic book series co-created by Ray Chow called Skies of Fire, where we're hoping to develop the next set of adventures for the series. You can find the original 8 issues on our web store if you're so interested, but it follows the story of a Captain Helen Pierce, as she goes on the hunt for a pirate who's wreaking havoc over her kingdom. It is a story that I wanted to tell because I love airships, and I believe airships deserve more screen time. and airtime, if you will. And Skies of Fire is a way for me to achieve that. This week I've been working on a new draft for Skies of Fire issue 9, as well as talking to one of our newer artists to come on board and helm the project. Her name is Alessandra Imperio. She is absolutely fantastic, and she's been doing an amazing set of concept artwork and designs for us to establish what we want to do for this upcoming issue. If you're interested in getting more Mythworks into your feed, want to follow along with Skies of Fire, Glow, and all the other projects that we're doing over here at Mythworks, feel free to join our Patreon. There you'll have access to our Myth Monthly, which is a monthly magazine where we have interviews and talk about topics of art and history. We also have sneak peeks behind the scenes, works in progresses that we love to share with our fans so that you guys can keep up to date and also share in this amazing adventure. Well, that's it for me this week. I'm Vince, and this has been my 2 cents. Thank you so much for listening in, and to everyone out there, have an amazing weekend. Lots of love, and see you next time. Bye.